All right, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores. I know it's late, but just another one of those busy days. But we're here with a Rico report today. We have so many different things to talk about. We have Jayden Daniels talking about his plans to bulk up before the 2025 season starts. The Washington Commanders went and signed a familiar running back. Nothing too major, but I still wanted to update y'all on that because just in case if you're not familiar with Rico reports, we bounce around with every little random topic I can find or think of about the Commanders just to make sure you know everything that's going on. You also have a Giants star wide receiver that wants to play with Jayden Daniels. We have a star running back saying that Jayden Daniels will be the best quarterback in the NFL eventually. Jerry Jones is scared of Jayden Daniels. The Jayden Daniels hater explained his reasoning for not giving him the one first place vote out of 50 that he did not get. Also, Washington dodged a major coaching bullet. We're going to dive into that. And Jayden Daniels has a new billboard in DC. We're going to talk about all of that and even more. Like, that's just some of it. And also, I have a trivia question for y'all. Now, granted, I know it's 5 a.m. February 8th, but I've been so busy, it still technically feels like yesterday to me. So we're going to do February 7th trivia question. I'm going to give y'all the question now, the answer at the end of the video. And the question is, who coached Washington to its first winning record in 14 years when he posted a 7-5-2 mark in his lone season at the helm in 1969? And before we dive into all of that, make sure you still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, and still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. Really appreciate y'all for pulling up and supporting every single video. But instead of wasting even more of y'all time, let's go ahead and get to this video right now, man. Let's get it. Adam. And because this news, this piece of update, like, isn't like super significant, we're gonna go ahead and knock it out first. I mean, I have hopes for this guy, but re-signing him does not stop us from taking like a Marion Hampton in the first round if he falls that far in the first round for us. Not at all, in my opinion. But just to let you know, the Washington Commanders have signed running back Michael Wiley to a reserve future contract. The Commanders have been going around and doing this for a lot of players. Michael Wiley specifically, he was a guy that showed some potential in the preseason. I felt like, honestly, he had a better preseason, offseason than even Jeremy McNichols, but they chose to go with Jeremy McNichols because of his veteran experience and things like that. Even though, now looking back at it, hindsight 2020 with the fumble that Jeremy McNichols had against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, whoo, it does look, I mean, Jeremy McNichols did have a good season. I'm not going to allow that one fumble against the Eagles in that conference championship to define his entire season, but there were a lot of us that were like chanting Michael Wiley as the third running back, you know what I'm saying, before we even hit the 53-man rosters. Then it came out and then Jeremy McNichols beat him out for that third running back spot. We also rotated Chris Rodriguez in there every now and then, but Michael Wiley was just left behind. He was not one of the four running backs that we got to see consistently throughout the season. Again, signing Michael Wiley to a reserve future contract, especially as an ex-undrafted free agent just from last year, this is not a guy that stops you from taking running back in the first round or however you want to address running back, because I truly believe we do not have our starting running back on roster right now. I like Brian Robinson. I like Austin Eckler. They can be a part of the group, but we still need a running back one. That's why I'm so big on like a Marion Hampton, or maybe you take like one of those other running backs later, like round 3, like a Scatterbo, something like that. But either way, Michael Wiley's cool, and I'm excited about his future, but it's not like we just signed our RB1 just now. Just to let you know, that's why we're getting it out the way early. And I'm going to be as transparent as possible. I'm rooting for him, but this does not stop anything. And he is now added to the list of several people that have been signed to these future contracts. He now joins Casimir Allen, Lawrence Cager, who used to play for Georgia. I remember him transferring to us. I was so excited. It never worked out, but now he's transitioned from wide receiver to tight end. But I already talked about in another video why I broke down. I've kept y'all updated on all of these guys we've been signing to reserve contracts since the playoffs have started, before we even beat the Detroit Lions. Then you also have Anam Dankwa, you have Valami Fehoko Jr., you have Demetric Felton, Alan George, Julian Good-Jones, Bobby Hart, Sam Hartman, Tyree Jackson, Andre Jones Jr., Chris Moore, Ben Nickel, Mike Strahan, I believe, because I think he's like from the Caribbean somewhere or something like that. And I remember seeing somebody in the comment section say it's not pronounced Strachan, it's like Strahan or something like that. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong again. Make sure y'all definitely correct me. Let me know, if I'm not on point right now. And then also Cole Turner. I talked about that, him signing back with us recently. And then lastly, Michael Wiley joins the list of 16 guys that have been signed to reserve future contracts for the 2025 offseason. These 90-man roster guys that, I mean, honestly, looking at this list of people, I'm not very confident in any of these guys making the final 53-man roster, but you never know what can happen. These guys will get the opportunity to show what they could do from now in early February all the way through September, really late August about. So, hey, man, I'm rooting for these guys, especially Michael Wiley, who we just signed. Now, moving on, because I already feel like I spent too much time on that as is. Now we're talking about Giant star, last year's rookie, wide receiver, Malik Nabers. He was asked which quarterback in NFL history he would want to catch passes from the most. His answer was Jayden Daniels. He didn't even want to hide it. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Malik Nabers, even when he was drafted by the Giants, didn't look too happy about it. He was like, this situation, they don't have a quarterback. And then his frustrations were definitely justified by the season that he had, where he was like pretty much the entire offense. Shouts out to Tyrone Tracy for stepping up at times, but really, it was the Malik Nabers show and just friends, I guess. Malik Nabers and friends. The neighborettes or something. The neighbors and the neighborettes. And then he also said, you never know, on the possibility of catching passes from Jayden in the future. Woo-wee. I mean, imagine being a Giants fan, man. I mean, prayers to those guys, dog. Because, first of all, your star running back leaves to go to a division rival, from the Giants to the Eagles, and immediately goes to the Super Bowl in his first year there with his new division rival team. And then your star wide receiver, while that running back is about to play in the Super Bowl a couple of days, your star wide receiver, your best offensive weapon and player, arguably, out of the entire team, that just finished up his great rookie season, he just got there and is already talking about leaving to go to a different division rival. Now, with the other ops in the Washington Commanders from a Giants fan point of view, I mean, I really feel sorry for these guys. Shouts out to Sabrina Burks for the article that she wrote for Commanders Wire. She said, Washington Commanders quarterback Jayden Daniels was named the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year for 2024. One of his prime competitors was former college teammate and current New York Giants wide receiver Malik Nabers. Nabers worked some magic on the field this season behind a trio of quarterbacks and the drama surrounding that position, and is easily as deserving of the Offensive Rookie of the Year award as Daniels. I mean, that's maybe a little bit of stretch, but Malik Nabers balled. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Recently, Nabers was asked which quarterback in NFL history he would want to catch passes from. His answer might surprise you. It didn't surprise me. He loves Jayden Daniels. He was there for that Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. He was in the stadium rooting for Jayden Daniels and was just as excited and happy that Jayden Daniels beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we were as Commanders fans. That's his dog, man. But continuing with the article, first the interviewer says, quote, the other question they had, NFL history, any quarterback that can throw you the ball, who do you want, unquote. And peep, he didn't just say, they didn't ask him currently in the NFL. They said out of all NFL history, who would you love to catch passes from? And then Nabers thought for a second before answering, Jayden Daniels. At this point, the group around them got excited and said that maybe we'd see it happen. Nabers replied, you never know. Now, it may not be surprising to some because Nabers and Daniel had success together at LSU. And if you think about Nabers in Washington, he'd be a sweet tool to add to Daniels' toolbox. He'd complement Terry McLaurin very well and be an immediate threat. I would agree. Malik Nabers and Terry, I mean, there's literally nothing you could do as a defense to game plan against that, especially with Jayden Daniels at quarterback. The Giants and Commanders making a trade is obviously very unlikely, never will happen, especially one that involves Nabers, who they aren't keen to let go. I wouldn't if I'm a Giants organization leader, GM, head coach. I wouldn't either. But that doesn't mean they couldn't join up in the future, and that will be a fun tandem to watch if they can make it happen. I mean, that won't be for another 5 years, because I'm pretty sure they're going to pick up Malik Nabers' fifth-year option. Even if he really, really, really wants to leave, they're going to pick up that fifth-year option, which again, 5 years from now, then they'll probably even franchise tag him after that if they don't already do everything that they can to extend him. But he could be in a situation where he's like, man, I'm tired of being don't care how much money y'all give me. This quarterback situation still sucks in the year 2030. This team has a new stadium. Jayden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFL, which we're going to talk about a little later in this video. Just imagine a scenario 5 years from now, Malik Nabers just like, hey, I don't care. I do not care. I don't care how much money y'all offer me. I'm going over here with the Commanders, dog, to be with my boy, to reunite with him from our days at LSU, because I know he's going to do his job at quarterback, and I know I can do my job over wide receiver. But I've already spent too much time on this because, again, this is something that will not happen for at least another 5 years. The Giants would never trade him, and they're going to pick up that fifth-year option. And like I said, they may even franchise tag him to extend how long they keep him on that team as long as possible, even, holding him there against his will. So, watch out for that, I guess. This Malik Nabers to Commanders thing, just go ahead and kill it until at least the year 2030. Basically, my point is, expect a new Commanders stadium before we're even discussing Malik Nabers on the Commanders. That's the best way to word it. Now, moving on, Jayden Daniels was given praise by David Montgomery. Big praise from an opponent / peer, because we got to play them next year and everything. We're competing against them for NFC playoff seeding and things like that, because we're a perennial playoff team. I think we're going to be a perennial Super Bowl contender, especially after this offseason, what we're doing for agency in the draft. But my point is, this is not necessarily a division rival, but a conference rival that you're going to see quite often. We're going to be like in the same tier of good to great, constantly going to the playoffs, probably matching up against each other. And again, we also play them in the regular season this upcoming season. And, he has his quarterback. Well, a lot of people started to feel like there was hype building for that guy to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Well, you have David Montgomery. He was asked about Jayden Daniels by the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. He said, quote, "I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of years, they're talking about Jayden Daniels being the best quarterback in the league. Mind you, in a couple of years, Pat Mahomes is still only 31 years old. You saw Tom Brady play well into his 40s. Like, Pat Mahomes would still have probably like at least another 7-9 years of top quarterback play, basically. And David Montgomery still feels like, while Pat Mahomes is at the oldest 31, 32, Jayden Daniels is already a better quarterback than him and everybody else in the NFL. That is very high praise, man. So watch out, y'all. That boy Jayden Daniels is coming, and even players from other teams saying that about Jayden Daniels and not even his own quarterback. That's how great Jayden Daniels is. Now, moving on, we even have more praise for Jayden Daniels during the Super Bowl week media. I mean, it's been coming from left and right. How about Hall of Famer Charles Woodson, one of the greatest athletes all time, especially from his time in college? He said, quote, "Going forward, there's going to be some guys that are going to want to come to play with Jayden Daniels," unquote. Basically saying that from here on out, after the rookie season that Jayden Daniels just had, expect basically Washington to be a top free agency destination. Be on the lookout for that. And I love the sound of that, man. Charles Woodson has absolutely zero reason to show the Commanders team, fan base, organization any sort of love. But again, Jayden Daniels is such a star that everybody not only wants to talk to him, but also give him compliments and just talk about the fact that the burgundy and gold future is so bright because Jayden Daniels is our quarterback. We're going to attract so many top players that may be even willing to take less money to be a part of the Jayden Daniels Super Bowl run. I'm super excited, man. And again, for Charles Woodson to recognize that is not a Commanders reporter, a Commanders fan. This is a national media, completely neutral analyst out there that has no attachment to the Commanders saying that about the Commanders. And if a 9-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All-Pro guy feels that way about Jayden Daniels, I mean, who are we to disagree? You know what I'm saying? Who out there can honestly have any sort of rebuttal against what Charles Woodson said? I know as a Commanders fan, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Now, also moving on, shouts out to Jerry Jones, because he was asked about Jayden Daniels in a clip that's a minute long. I'm not going to play the clip because I'm always afraid of YouTube getting mad at me and taking my channel down and things like that. I try to play as many clips as I can, but when it seems like it may be a clip from somebody that's going to upload it themselves to YouTube and things like that, I'm scared. I'm not going to lie. But the biggest quote from the minute clip was, quote, "I get sick thinking about playing him twice a year," unquote. And I'm not gonna lie, I literally laughed out loud when I saw this. I mean, I honestly thought this in my head that I know Jerry Jones has to be sick looking at what Jayden Daniels is doing, especially on a rookie contract for at least the next 4 years. You know what I'm saying? I know he hates it. It can't be fun. Jayden Daniels is the talk of the town. The fact that you're at Super Bowl week and your Dallas Cowboys didn't even make the playoffs and you're being asked about a burgundy and gold quarterback, that should tell you everything you need to know. And the fact that he even acknowledged, he's willing to even admit, I get sick thinking about having to play him twice a year. Again, I highly suggest going to look at that quote, especially if you're a big Jerry Jones Dallas Cowboys hater. Oh, that's going to feed your soul. If you're having a down day, go look at that clip, man. I promise you it's going to cheer you up. Also, Jayden Daniels, shouts out to Nike because they put out a whole nice graphic like you can see on the screen right now. Because, of course, Jayden Daniels won Offensive Rookie of the Year. We already knew that, like, by halfway through the season that he would. But they even tweeted, he's only a rookie. Shouts out to Jayden Daniels, your Offensive Rookie of the Year, again, with this graphic. And I know some people were probably like, wait, Jayden Daniels just signed a Nike deal? Is that like the announcement? But remember, he signed a footwear and apparel deal with Nike, like, before the draft. Before he was even drafted, before he was even a Commander, he was already a part of the Nike brand. And also the reason you should remember that is because he wore some Air Jordan 1s with like some Commanders colors against the Ravens when we played them in the regular season. And I remember why that was controversial, because the NFL is really strict with like which branded cleats you can wear and things like that. All of the apparel, guys like Marshawn Lynch was like, hey, I'm just going to take that fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to wear what I want to wear, especially to honor something that means a lot to me. But just to let you know, Nike athletes like Jayden Daniels are usually allowed to wear Air Jordans as long as they feature a visible swoosh logo. But the NFL and Nike do not play about making sure you have that swoosh on your cleats no matter what you got going on. And again, just to remind y'all, Jayden Daniels has been signed to Nike since before he was even drafted. Also, Jayden Daniels is getting a lot of love in DC as well, because there is a big billboard on New York Ave in DC. It's on the New York Avenue Street Bridge. And shouts out to Chief of DC for pointing this out. I believe that's how everybody knows. That's where this whole thing came from and everything like that. So shouts out to him for taking the picture that you're seeing on the screen right now. And then also shouts out to Nikki Javala, because she added onto it with a tweet saying the Commanders got a billboard on New York Ave in DC, took out ads in the Washington Post and the Washington Times, and created a separate webpage in honor of Jayden Daniels' Offensive Rookie of the Year award. The Jayden Daniels brand is strong, but most importantly, the burgundy and gold is not playing about their boy. Billboards, articles, a separate part of the webpage just in honor of Jayden Daniels' Offensive Rookie of the Year award. All of that, man. We love our guy. He loves us back too, which makes it even better. Also, now we're going from all of the Jayden Daniels love to the Jayden Daniels hate. Because remember, I told y'all in my previous video, well, my Rico report or whatever, breaking down like what happened with the voting and all of that type of stuff. Dan Quinn snubbed, Cliff Kingsbury snubbed, even Lamar Jackson snubbed, Jayden Daniels hated on, all of that type of stuff, but he still cleaned up and had 2 awards. Only human that received 2 awards at the AP Awards show Friday night. But either way, Sam Monson was the one guy out of 50 that did not give Jayden Daniels a first place vote. He gave it to Brock Bowers, a Georgia dog. But shouts out to Grant Paulson for reaching out to Sam Monson, because he reached out to him and asked him like why he felt like he should be the only voter to not select Jayden Daniels as Offensive Rookie of the Year. His reasoning, he gave 5 points. 1, regular season award, he voted before the playoffs. Still stupid. 2, Bowers had the best rookie year for a tight end ever. Jayden Daniels had the best rookie year for a quarterback ever. What are you saying? Like, what? Okay, thanks. Number 3, Daniels is incredible, and quarterbacks have had amazing rookie seasons more recently. What? So just because quarterbacks typically have great rookie seasons and tight ends don't, that's why you just got rid of Jayden Daniels right there. Reason 4, Bowers did it without other weapons helping him and bad quarterback play. Come on, man. Come on, man. Jayden Daniels' back still hurts from keep putting his team on his back and keeping them in a duffel bag and a backpack, carrying them through as far as he did, especially with the way that the defense and everybody fumbling against the Eagles. You saw it all fall apart. You know this team overachieved mightily because Jayden Daniels is that great. And then 5, he made it clear that he has no issues with Daniels as Offensive Rookie of the Year. It was just really close to him. That's the only one of the 5 points that I'm not like just super upset with them about. Either way though, Grant Paulson finished up by saying, on finding out he was the only guy not to vote for him as the winner, Sam Monson said, quote, "You don't love it. I have a pretty good idea of what my mentions are going to look like for the next couple of days," unquote. Oh, I bet. I think he deserves everything he gets. Again, I'm not promoting anybody to go attack him verbally or whatever, but I think he deserves everything he gets. And again, I'm the biggest Georgia Bulldog fan you'll ever meet. But come on, dog. I mean, we ain't got to give it too much time for that. I feel like, honestly, Buddy's trolling, so I'm not going to feed into it too much. Already gave him enough attention, bringing him up in 2 separate videos. We're moving on because we're here to talk about how Jayden Daniels deserves so much love, because now we got to talk about how Jayden Daniels is straight up him. So he was with Bleacher Report, and they had him guess all of the quarterback silhouettes. They had like this black and white thing where it's the whole background is white, and then you have the silhouette of the quarterback doing things. They're just a black silhouette, right? Jayden Daniels guessed every single one correctly. And I would love to show the clip, but I'm afraid of YouTube pulling up with a flashbang and like a channel deleter at the hip or something like that. So I just highly suggest you go look up that clip yourself, because they even told him right then and there after he finished that he was the only player out of everybody that tried it to get every single one of them right. And my point is, we have the film junkie, y'all. Like the Kobe Bryant mentality, to where there's never enough preparation done. You can always do more type of guy. That's why I'm so confident that he's going to get even better. That this wasn't a fluke, that he's not going to have a CJ Stroud sophomore slump or something like that. And speaking of getting better, being able to keep your rookie season quarterback coach for another season definitely helps, which takes me to the next topic, man. These transitions smooth, man. You got to give me some credit today, man. Either way, though, the Jacksonville Jaguars went ahead and hired Grant Yadinsky, I hope that's how you pronounce that name, man, to become their next offensive coordinator. Remember, Commanders quarterbacks coach Tavita Pritchard interviewed for that same exact Jaguars offensive coordinator position like a week or two ago. I don't know. It's been so much going on. It feels like it was a month ago, but it was probably literally just last week. I've been so busy. Again, I'm trying my best to get like 2-3 videos done a day, but I've just been so busy. It's been impossible. Either way, though, remember, during one of his interviews during Super Bowl week, Jayden Daniels spoke about how important it is to retain his coaches from last year, and even talked about how Tavita Pritchard more than likely has like an entire list of things already that Jayden Daniels needs to work on as soon as they start off-season workouts, or even if they do some stuff individually by themselves. I mean, Jayden even admitted that he doesn't even exactly know what he needs to work on like list-wise, but he trusts Tavita Pritchard, the guy that we're talking about retaining, that he already does. Like, he's putting all of his trust. Like, that's a lot of trust and very high praise for the quarterback's coach, Tavita Pritchard. Jayden Daniels clearly thinks very highly of him. I mean, my main point is, it is huge that it looks like that we'll probably at least be keeping Tavita Pritchard for at least the 2025 regular season and 2026 season, and that's big time for Jayden Daniels' continued development and improvement moving forward. He trusts him so much that he hasn't even self-evaluated himself that much and just already thinks, I'm pretty sure Tavita Pritchard got a bunch of stuff for me to get ready for and to improve on, and so I'm gonna be better going into next season. That's my guy. I know he got me type of thing, so that's beautiful. And I'm always gonna keep bringing up the 2026 postseason. I always mention the postseason in my predictions, and when I'm like, I just included in random slick things like that, just real sly, because it's now the expectation. That's literally the floor. Also, moving on, Jayden Daniels, the one thing he did say that he wanted to improve on definitively was that he wanted to work on bulking up and adding more muscle this season. He was with ESPN's Lenny friggin' Leo, I believe that's how you pronounce that. I guess that's his name on Twitter. And like, they asked him, what do you want to improve on and things like that. The one definitive thing that he said is that he really wanted to bulk up, add more muscle, add more mass to his body. So there's at least one way that he already plans to improve in 2025. We'll wait to see when Jayden Daniels and Tavita Pritchard finally, link back up and see what they're gonna do as far as like technical wise and scanning the field, all of that type of stuff. Nerdy quarterback stuff, which is why we're so excited that Tavita Pritchard is staying another year and going to continue working with Jayden Daniels. Probably going to end up leaving to go get an offensive coordinator job probably after we win the Super Bowl in 2026. Now, moving on, another guy that we ended up retaining, and assistant GM at Lance Newmark, who Adam Peters absolutely loves. And then it looked like he was on the way to taking the general manager job as a promotion with the New York Jets. And then it ended up not going down. We didn't exactly know why, but then like there was this Jets reporter that tried to spin it and make it seem like they were lucky that they didn't end up hiring Lance Newmark. They tried to put like a complete 180 of like, we can't wait to hire this guy. And then after it fell through for whatever reason, they tried to spin it like, oh, Lance Newmark actually isn't even really that good, and we dodged the bullet type of thing. Well, now recently, as of, what was this, February 7th, so yesterday. Oh my lord, that feels like that was days ago when I saw this tweet. Either way though, shouts out to ML Football for the report that Commanders assistant general manager Lance Newmark actually took himself out of the consideration for the Jets general manager position. Sources familiar with the situation say he was unhappy with the entire hiring process, and many around the NFL were also unhappy with the 33rd team's involvement. So whatever this experiment that's going on with the 33rd team, helping people, especially the Jets, hire guys for like general manager and building their front office and coaching staff, whatever it is, Lance Newmark didn't like it, and I'm pretty sure if he didn't like it, other people aren't necessarily liking it. Now, I believe Aaron Glenn has done a good job now becoming the head coach for the Jets, and I feel like he's putting together a pretty good staff on paper, but that 33rd team thing doesn't sound too good, because I know Aaron Glenn wanted his main man, Lance Newmark, back. Remember, they were both with the Detroit Lions just a couple of years ago. Lance Newmark, and it was one of the top executives, one of the main draft guys over there, talent evaluators. Then he left to become our assistant general manager in 2024, and again, he's going to stay here for at least another year. Aaron Glenn clearly wanted to take him with him to the Jets from the Commanders from their time at the Lions together. It didn't work out, and Lance Newmark probably had to tell Aaron Glenn, like, I rock with you, but whatever y'all got going on with this 33rd team thing or whatever y'all are building, hey man, I can't do it. You my boy, but I can't do it. That's what it sounds like. And again, shouts out to whoever that Jets reporter was that tried to flip it and make it seem like the Jets turned him down when really he turned the Jets down. Also, we have some more interesting Jayden quotes from Super Bowl week. Like one specifically where like he was asked to share the best wideout he's ever played with. And, you know, of course, he has a list of Brandon Ayuk. He has Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, of course, Malik Nabers. He has Ricky Pearsall. Like, he has some guys that he's worked with throughout his time, you know, between college and the NFL. And, you know, he smooth criminal that he is, he decided to break it up because this wasn't how they asked him. They just said, name the best receiver you ever played with. Smooth criminal that he is, he broke it down by saying like specific traits. So he said best release, Brandon Ayuk. Speed, Brian Thomas. Tracking the ball, Terry McLaurin. Hands, Malik Nabers. I'm not going to lie, I probably agree with that. Like Terry McLaurin's ability, like his eyes to track the ball from behind when the ball is coming down like this. Malik Nabers definitely has the best hands. Brandon Ayuk, I can see the release, even though I would probably throw Terry in there as well. Terry's release was crazy this year on some of those routes he ran. And then, yeah, Brian Thomas got it with the speed. Even though all of those guys are really fast, Brian Thomas is probably the guy that's like on a slight another like level from everybody else in that list. Also, before we get up out of here, I do want to let y'all know I saw something about the NFL maybe thinking about banning or at least nerfing the tush push that the Eagles just absolutely love to do. Now, it'd be great if they could nerf it or ban it before the Super Bowl, but this is like an off-season type of thing. We'll see how it may affect the 2025 season. Either way, though, Fox's Mike Pereira, the former NFL officiating czar, says he thinks the Commanders' repeated offside infractions on the goal line sequence during the NFC title game could lead to renewed consideration by the NFL and competition committee on banning the Eagles' push the quarterback sneak. Mike Pereira said, quote, I think it will be a conversation. I think what happened in that championship game was ugly. I think with the ugliness of that they'll take a further look at it. I think it'll continue being looked at, that maybe somewhere down the road making a change, unquote. He also said, quote, to think that any play in a game led to what a referee could do, which is actually award a score without a play, called a palpably unfair act, which I'd be waiting for 15 years to say on air. I was so excited, I almost spit it out right away, unquote. Either way, though, the point is, shouts out to Frankie Louvu, because those constant leaps over the line and everything like that is why, and like how ugly it looked, just, you know, just aesthetically, like from like a viewer of the game, this looks silly. Like it's almost like that this is not a professional game, $1 billion business. This looks like just some stupid stuff we just throw on the TV and people are just doing whatever. It looks like anarchy, chaos. And shouts out to Frankie Louvu for pushing the issue. You know what I'm saying? Now he got these boys over here politicking about, man, maybe this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So hey, shouts out to Frankie Louvu. I was never mad in the first place because my whole thing was during the game. I don't know why Commanders fans were upset with him because at least he was trying. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing during the game, while he was doing it, while like we were still losing and on the way to losing the NFC Championship, during my live stream, I said at least he cares. You know what I'm saying? These other people probably just signing off like, yeah, man, I can't wait to get back with my family. I'm sore. I'm done. Frankie Louvu's putting his body on the line and at least forcing the issue. You know, he's pressing the line. I really appreciate Frankie Louvu for that. And so now we really appreciate Frankie Louvu because of all of that mess that he caused. Now the NFL may look at this like, yeah, we probably can't allow that to continue. So maybe we actually should go ban the quarterback sneak, push, whatever. So, hey, man, if it gets banned, just remember, shout out Frankie Louvu. And of course, if it ends up actually getting banned like months from now, I will definitely let y'all know. Or if it gets modified, nerfed in any way, I got y'all. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stick on that like button, stick on the subscription button, stick on the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. I really appreciate all of y'all for all of the support, man. Pulling up for every video, leaving a like. If you made it this far in the video, I salute you just off of that alone. Really appreciate you. And also, the answer to your trivia question was Vince Lombardi himself. So that's the answer to the trivia question. Of course, let me know in the comment section how you feel about everything discussed in this video, man. We talked about so many different things, especially like Jayden Daniels and how much people are loving him. I mean, a Packers quarterback saying that Jayden Daniels will be the best quarterback in the NFL in a couple of years. Charles Woodson saying because of Jayden Daniels, the Commanders are going to be a place that a lot of the best players in the NFL want to play. You have Jerry Jones saying that he's sick about the fact that he has to deal with Jayden Daniels at least twice a year. So let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video, man, especially the whole Tush push potentially getting banned or at least nerfed because of the Frankie Louvu situation. Let me know how you feel about everything. Sam Monson's explanation as to why he was the one person out of 50 that did not give Jayden Daniels his first place vote so he could go ahead and sweep with the all 50 first place votes. Let me know how you feel about all of that type of stuff, man. I really appreciate y'all. Again, on the way out, make sure you leave a like. Catch y'all later. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.